Hello, welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to be ranking every single Chapter 5 weapon as of I'm recording this video. There's probably going to be one or two more weapons after I record this, but I've got most of them down, well, all of them, right now. So, yeah, we're going to be starting from Chapter 5 Season 1 and working our way to Chapter 5 Season 4. Two important things before I start. First of all, this is just my opinion. You may have a completely different opinion. For example, if I say a weapon is S tier, you could think it's E or D tier. Another thing, I pretty much always play zero build. I'm not a builds guy. So if you find an opinion strange, or just like think, oh, I can just build to stop the weapon, keep in mind I'm a zero build player, so some weapons are going to be a lot more difficult to deal with than others would be in builds. The first weapon of this tier list is the Striker AR. Now, I didn't think this weapon was amazing, but I did like it. It was probably the AR I used the most in that season, because, you know, the Nemesis was okay, and the Enforcer was okay, which we'll get onto in a second. So yeah, I'll give it a solid B tier. It's not the best AR of this chapter in my opinion, but I think it's good. I'll give it like a high B tier for now. The next weapon is the Enforcer AR. Now, to be honest with you, my opinion on this weapon changed significantly since when it first released and when it came back in Season 3. I used to think that this weapon was terrible. I did not touch this weapon. I preferred the Nemesis and the Striker over it. But when it came back in Season 3 and got a little bit of a buff, I actually really enjoyed the weapon. I tried it out, and it was my favourite AR out of the other options that season, which I believe are the TAC AR and the combat. I guess there was also the tri-beam. But yeah, I loved this AR. It was one of the best long-range ARs that I've ever used. And yeah, it's great. I really like it. It's pretty strong and it's pretty accurate. So yeah, I'll give it an A tier. First A tier already. Next is the Nemesis. Back on the Striker AR, I did say that I'd use it a lot more than the Nemesis, and yeah, I did. But the Nemesis wasn't bad. It was still probably just as good as the Striker. I just found the Striker more useful in more situations. The Nemesis here I don't really use as much because, you know, those other long-range weapons, well, only really one to be fair, like the Reaper. But I did use it every now and again, and it is a good weapon. And I used it in Season 2 as well. It was still in Season 2. Probably less to be fair though, because I love the Warforged, which we'll get onto later. But yeah, it's good. It's good long range and it's alright close range, I'd say. I like the Nemesis. It's probably tied with the Striker for me in high beta. Next is the Hammer Pump Shotgun. The worst shotgun to exist in history, at least the worst pump. The only thing I can think of that it might be is the makeshift shotgun. And yeah, this thing was terrible. The mythic one was terrible. The legendary one terrible. I hate the hammer pump, and the fact that it's been here the entire chapter makes it worse. I hate this thing so much. It's a pump shotgun. It's supposed to be strong, but it's not. It really isn't. You're better off choosing the Gatekeeper or the Frenzy or whatever the other option was. Even if it was like the, I don't know, grey makeshift, you're better off with it than a hammer pump. Also, this thing was automatic. Why? Why? There's no reason for this thing to be automatic. I don't use it as an automatic weapon. I still just use it like every other pump. Yeah, this thing's F tier, obviously, if you couldn't tell by my reaction. Next is the Frenzy Auto Shotgun, which is on the complete other end of the spectrum. This shotgun, amazing. One of the best shotguns I've ever used. I love this thing. Probably my favourite auto shotgun. Need to think for a second. I don't know, but it's my favourite shotgun of Chapter 5. That's for sure. Maybe not my favourite auto shotgun, but it's my favourite shotgun of Chapter 5. I love it. It's really strong, really fast. I mean, it's pretty annoying as well, to be fair. But I do love auto shotguns because I'm not the best with pumps. But that's still no excuse for the hammer pump to not be an F tier, okay? Yeah, this thing's probably going to go in S tier, to be honest. I think this is our first S tier. I love this thing. I couldn't say a single bad thing about it apart from maybe its reload. Its reload wasn't great because, you know, you had to reload the entire thing. But, and it took a while. But apart from that, it's a really good weapon. Next is the Hyper SMG. Now, this SMG was pretty good when it first came out. Probably the weapon I'm going to talk the least about, of Season 1 at least. It's just a quick SMG, that's all I really have to say about it. I didn't use it too much. I've always preferred the Thunderburst over it. But, you know, it's okay, it's not bad. It's just every other SMG in this chapter was better, in my opinion. So, I'm going to give this thing like a low beta. It's not the worst thing to exist. But it's not great. Right, now for the Thunderburst, which is one of the best burst weapons. There isn't many, but it's a good one. Nothing bad to say about the Thunderburst. Its reload is super quick. It has good damage, good fire rate. Nothing bad about this weapon. Yeah, this is another S tier for me. I can't say much about it because there's nothing to criticize about it. It's great. The only bad thing about it is that it's not in Season 4. You know how I said the Hyper SMG was kind of boring? I think this is even more boring. The Ranger pistol. It's just an automatic pistol. Moddable. It's good. It's decent. It's alright. Not the best pistol in the world, but it's pretty strong. I'll give it a beta. Now, this might get a bit controversial. But I don't really like snipers. I think they're okay. They're good. There's the odd good one, but in my opinion, this isn't really one of the amazing ones. This is okay. It's just like an okay sniper. I've always been more of a DMR guy. I love DMRs. I'm just not a fan of snipers, mainly because my accuracy is not the best, and DMRs give you a few more shots. But yeah, I'm not a fan of snipers. I'm just happy it's not one with only one bullet in the mag, because I suck with those snipers, okay? This is probably more of a skill issue than the weapon, but I suck with snipers, so this thing's probably low C tier for me. Right, the grapple blade is a weapon that I didn't really appreciate until the season ended and I started using it a bit more in creative. It's quite a good weapon. It's pretty strong. It's kind of annoying, but it's a pretty strong weapon. I wish I used it a bit more. I didn't really play Season 1 much. It's definitely the Chapter 5 season that I played the least by far. I didn't really enjoy this season that much, but I liked the weapons in it. Well, I feel like in this season I either thought the weapon was okay, or I thought it was amazing. There wasn't really anything that sucked. Hammer pump. That's one thought. But yeah, I wasn't too fond of this season, so I didn't really get to try out the grapple blade too much. But now that I've used it in the creative a bit more, and I do have some memories of it, I'll give it like a low A tier. The ballistic shield was OP. I believe it got nerfed about halfway through the season, but I did like it, and I thought it was fun. I was a bit upset when it went. I think it should come back this season. I think it would fit. Although there's already one shield in the season, so maybe not. But yeah, I also think the grapple blade should come back, to be fair. But yeah, I thought the ballistic shield was alright. The shield was pretty good. Had a pistol with it, which was even better. Not much really bad about this weapon. You could charge with it, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I'll give it a low A tier as well, but I'd say it's probably lower than the grapple blade. Right, now we're on to the Warforged AR, which I believe is the greatest AR in all of Chapter 5. I love this AR so much. I was insane with this thing. Ares Warforged, my favourite mythic of that season, although now that I think about it, there was another weapon I loved in that season. I loved the season. This was my second favourite season of this chapter. Yeah, I really liked this season. I found it a lot of fun. I do like mythology. Yeah, I was insane. I was insane with the Warforged, basically. I loved it. I loved its fire rate. I loved its damage. I loved it. Was really good close range, and it was okay mid range. It wasn't really a long range AR, but yeah, I I'm sad that it's gone because I really liked it. And, I'm gonna give this thing an S tier. The Gatekeeper shotgun. I don't really have to say much about this weapon. Um, it's pretty strong. 3 in the mag, automatic. Can do a lot of damage if you put a drum mag on it. And yeah, pretty good weapon. Probably the best shotgun that's currently in Season 4. And yeah, I really like it. I'm going to give it a high A tier. The Harbinger SMG was another Chapter 5 Season 2 weapon that I fell in love with. I love this thing so much. I do love my SMGs. Yeah, I love this thing. I was insane with this Hades Harbinger. I once got like 20 kills with that thing. It was insane. Yeah, I love the Harbinger SMG. I'm sad. It's another weapon that I'm sad is gone. And I used to always have a hard time picking between the Harbinger and the Thunderburst in Season 3. But they did buff it in Season 3. They made its fire rate like way higher than it was before. Because I don't know why. I didn't think the weapon was bad at all. But I loved it even more, and that's when I started picking the Harbinger a lot more than the Thunderburst. Yeah, I'm going to give this thing high S tier. Probably the second highest spot on the tier list so far. The moddable drum gun. I'd say the moddable one is better than the original drum gun. Ironically, the drum gun is better with a speed mag in my opinion than an actual drum. I mean, it makes more sense to have a drum, obviously, but yeah, I really like this weapon with a speed mag. I prefer it than the original drum gun, personally. One of the few moddable weapons where I prefer the new one. But yeah, not much to say about it. I didn't use it too much, although I did use it as my AR/SMG. I still can't decide if this thing's more of like an SMG or a rifle. But yeah, I usually have it in my rifle slot. I didn't use it too much though, because I was usually using the Warforged, and it didn't come at the beginning of the season. But yeah, decent weapon. I'll give it a high B tier. The Huntress DMR is probably my favourite long range weapon, gun at least, of this chapter. And it isn't even that great. That's how much I like the long range weapons this chapter. Not at all, really. But it's a DMR, so I love it way more than snipers, I know. Probably skill issue, not gun. But personally, I prefer DMRs. Keep in mind, it's 0 build. So, yeah. I like the Huntress, even though it's probably my second least favourite DMR. I'm not a fan of the TAC. Yeah, it's alright. I love the thing with a red eye, or no scope at all, really. I don't really like it. It's also really good for sniper scope. I loved the Huntress for any scope, really, apart from the hollow optic and thermal. Yeah, pretty good weapon, pretty strong as well. Automatic, first automatic DMR. Didn't realise it was automatic till halfway through the season though. But yeah, good weapon. I'm gonna give it a low S tier. But to be honest, if this was chapter 4 or 3, it would probably be at like B tier. Next is the moddable hand cannon, which I can never decide if it's better or worse than the legacy one. But I don't know. I really like it with a red eye scope. Not too fond of it with anything else. It was alright with no scope as well. Yeah. Hand cannon was alright, but I was usually using the Huntress DMR as my long range instead of the hand cannon. I'm going to give it a mid beta. Next is the moddable tactical AR, which I can most definitely say I prefer the legacy one. I'm not too fond of the new tactical AR. When it was out, there was always better AR options, really. Yeah, probably the worst chapter 5 AR. Yeah, not much to say about it. It was okay. Used light ammo, which I guess was interesting, but that's what the legacy one did. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a low. I'm gonna give it a high C tier. Not. I'm gonna say it's worse than the Reaper. I really did not like that weapon now that I think about it. Next is the Chains of Hades, and who cares how good this weapon was? You could fish with it, okay? This thing's straight top tier, S tier. Okay, no. Although it was a very good weapon, I did like the Chains of Hades. Fairly strong, not too OP either. I'd say it was balanced, probably more on the OP side than perfectly balanced, but it wasn't like insanely annoying that you raged about it. I'm gonna say I'm gonna give it a high A tier. I'm gonna say it's probably the highest A tier of everything in A so far. Next is the Thunderbolt of Zeus, which was pretty strong as well. This is something that I would get a bit more angry about on the Chains of Hades. By a bit, I mean significantly. I thought the weapon was fun and strong to use. It was just not so fun when it was the Thunderbolt coming for you, and not you throwing the Thunderbolt yourself. I could see this being quite annoying in builds. I'm pretty sure this is in shredded builds, but in zero build it's even worse because you can't defend yourself once the Thunderbolt's coming at you. You're most likely dead. So I'm going to give it a high A tier, but not as high as Chains of Hades. Next is the Combat AR, which it's been in 2 seasons. It's still in the game right now as I'm recording this video, but I actually haven't used it too much. I think it's okay though. I think I do prefer the model to the Legacy, mainly because I do like this thing with a red eye AR. Red eye AR? Just a red eye scope, not a red eye AR. Well, I do love the red eye. Yeah, I like the mythic one, the Machinist's Combat. But yeah, I haven't really been using it too much since I usually go for the Striker or the Striker Burst. Now that in Season 4 at least, and in Season 3, I mainly went for the Enforcer AR, that's its name. I completely forgot its name for a second. I had to do a new recording. I'm going to put this thing in, I'm going to say low A tier. I'm going to say it was slightly better than the drum gun and probably better than the ballistic shield, but not better than the grapple blade. Combat shotgun next, another combat weapon that came in Season 3. I really like this shotgun. I thought it was pretty balanced. I think, again, I prefer the new one to the Legacy. This one was automatic, which the Legacy one wasn't, but I think I prefer it being automatic. I really liked it with a hollow optic, and I've been starting to use it with a red eye in creative. Yeah, I'm starting to like it with a red eye. Pretty good with a speed mag. And yeah, pretty good shotgun overall. I'm going to say it was probably the most just decent shotgun, but like good decent, like it was like decently good. So yeah, it wasn't like the best shotgun in the world, but it was pretty good and it was usable. So I'm going to say it's just one below the Gatekeeper in A tier. Next is the Boom Bolt, which is, I believe, the first new Chapter 5 explosive. I like the Boom Bolt. First moddable explosive, that's for sure. Yeah, pretty good. Boom Bolt was pretty good. Not too much to say about it. It was effective against cars. It was a good way to stop people from running you over with vehicles and doing all sorts with the turrets. And God, I did like vehicle mods, but they were a bit too OP. Yeah, pretty good weapon. Good way to stop vehicles. Strong against players as well, and it was quite fun to use too. The mythic one especially. I'm gonna say this thing's probably like a low A tier, but I'm gonna say it's definitely better than the ballistic shield. Next is the heavy impact sniper, which kind of made me stop playing Season 3. It didn't make me completely stop, it just made me a bit less motivated to play Battle Royale, because I do get a bit fed up when there's a very strong sniper that I suck with. Basically every sniper. Yeah, I found this thing probably more annoying than the Reaper, because it wasn't that people used it against me more or anything. I just couldn't use it as well as the Reaper. I feel like with the Reaper I could give it like a red eye and use it up close, and I was pretty good with it. I'd use it as like a, up close, just quickly scope in, kill someone, weapon. But yeah, the heavy impact, it was only one bullet in the mag as well. I'm not really good with like heavy snipers and stuff, and you couldn't mod it either, so I was forced to use it long range. I could see this being a very good sniper, just I suck with snipers, so it's not for me. So I just stuck to the Huntress DMR. I'm going to put this in high D tier, I think. Next is the Tri-Beam Laser Rifle, which is a collab weapon. What is it? Fallout, that's the name. Forgot for a second. God. Yeah, I really like the Tri-Beam Laser Rifle. I'd use it mainly like a long-range weapon. I'd use it as if, kind of like a DMR, I suppose. Yeah, I loved using that thing long range. Yeah, it was basically just another DMR for me. It didn't use ammo, which was good. Not too much to say about it, apart from it was a pretty good weapon. Pretty strong damage, decent speed, decent accuracy. There wasn't too much about it that I didn't like. I haven't heard the greatest stuff from other people, at least my friends and stuff didn't really enjoy it, but I really liked it, so I'm going to give it probably an 8. Next is the Nitro Fists, which, again, probably one of the more annoying weapons to exist, but I really love using these. These were really fun. I feel like, as much as people say they're annoying and stuff, they were definitely fun to use. You can't deny that. I love using these things. I love like uppercutting people. Like you could do so many moves with them. You could just like punch normally on the ground, but then you could like punch up, or you could punch like forward, or you could like uppercut. They're really fun. It feels like it was ages ago now since I used them, but it was quite recent. Yeah, I love these things. Not really any complaints about them from me. I'm gonna give it probably an S tier, to be honest. I'm gonna give it a low S tier. Next is the tow hook cannon. Wasn't the greatest of weapons to exist. I did like that it always did 100. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I kind of liked that it didn't headshot. I don't know why. I found that kind of cool. I enjoyed using the weapon. It was very fun to use. It might not have been strong, but it was definitely fun to just tow onto cars and then just start killing people. Especially when you combine it with the fists. God, it was so funny. I killed this guy once with a fist and I was just attached to his car, and it was... I wish I could show you if I don't have it clipped. But yeah, I love the tow hook cannon. It was fun to make little combinations with it, and emoing with it was fun too. I'm going to give it a high A tier, mainly because it was just fun. Right, next is the Striker Burst AR, which is another weapon where I actually prefer it being moddable again. I really enjoy this weapon with a red eye scope. I think the mythic one is pretty strong. I haven't actually gotten to use it too many times because the raft seems to be the new tilted towers for some reason. But yeah, I haven't used the mythic one too much. I enjoyed the Striker Burst. Probably my favourite AR that's currently available in Season 4. Yeah, it's strong, not too much to say. One of the better bursts to exist, though again there isn't too many. Yeah, not too much to say. I'm gonna give it probably a mid-A tier. Next is the Sovereign Shotgun, which I really enjoy. I think it's a cool shotgun. I like the idea of it. It's strong. It's pretty fun. Looks cool. No complaints about this shotgun. It's just slightly worse than the Gatekeeper, I'd say. I'm gonna put it in between the Gatekeeper and the Combat. Next are the dual micro SMGs, which I immediately fell in love with the moment I used these. I love dual weapons, and I love SMGs. So, yeah. I love using these things. These things are insane up close. Can be annoying at times, especially if you come across someone who has Gwenpool's SMGs. And yeah, very strong. Very fun as well. It is very satisfying when you kill someone with this. Love these weapons, so I'm going to give it an S tier. Next is the Monarch pistol, which is... It says it's very effective close range in its description, but I think the complete opposite. I think it's very effective long range. I think this is probably the best long range weapon that we currently have access to in Season 4. The only one to. I guess the striker burst could be used long range. But yeah, I really enjoy the Hornet pistol. It's fun to use. It's cool. It's a bit like the 6-shooter, kinda. Yeah, it's good. It's got good accuracy, good damage. Not much more to say. Doom's one is quite good too. I'm gonna give it probably a mid-8er. Next is Cap's Shield. Yeah, I'm putting this thing in F tier. It's the most annoying weapon that's released this chapter, 100%. I hate this thing so much. If someone has Cap's Shield, this thing is too strong. Can it please get removed? If someone has this, they're going to block all of your shots, and they're going to chuck the thing at you, and it's going to do loads of damage for some reason, and then they're going to block all your shots, and then you're going to have to reload, and then they're going to throw the shield at you, and then you're going to die. And then they're also going to have jetpacks too, and then, yeah, you're dead. So, I hate this thing so much. I would put it in F tier, but because it is fun to use once you do get one yourself, I'm going to put it in E tier. So, yeah, I do not like this weapon. I hope it gets removed or nerfed again. It's already been nerfed and it's still too strong. So can they either please nerf it again or just vault it? Next is the auto turret, which is a cool idea. It just does minuscule damage. It's not great. It's good if you've got a spare inventory slot. It's always good to have something. To be honest, I'd say it's more helpful when it sees a player that you weren't aware of and looks at it and starts flashing red than when it actually does the damage. The amount of times it's killed someone is like probably once or twice for me, but the amount of times it's seen someone that I had no clue was behind me has probably saved me like 3 or 4 times. So I'm going to put this thing in high C tier. It's not useless, but I wouldn't waste an inventory spot if you don't have one for it. Next is War Machine's Arsenal. Another weapon which is a very annoying like Cap Shield. A lot of these Marvel items are very annoying. But yeah, it's very fun to use when you get one yourself. It's just not nice to go up against because they're going to have rockets. You can't stop the rockets. You're probably going to die. Your only hope against someone who has War Machine's Arsenal is to use another War Machine's Arsenal, from my experience. Yeah. It's a fun weapon, good weapon. It's just a bit annoying, so I'm going to put it in beta. Last but not least are the Shuri claws, which I think are amazing. If you've got a supercharge on these, Storm is nothing to you. You can outrun any Storm. Yeah, they're very close up. They're very good up close as well. I swap these out for a shotgun sometimes if I don't have like an epic or legendary one. Yeah, good weapon, very good mobility. I'm gonna put this in high A tier. I think. No, actually, no. I'm gonna put this in S tier. Thanks for watching the entire video. I've probably don't have everything now that this video is released, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, just remember, if you don't agree with my opinions, that's completely fine. I'm probably one of the worst serial build players out there, but yeah, I like some weapons that you probably hate, and I probably hate some weapons that you like, and that's fine. Again, a lot of people play builds rather than zero builds, and that's fine. If you're probably going to say, oh, well, this weapon, I don't know, builds. I don't know, I'm not familiar with builds at all, as you can probably tell. But, yeah, aside from that, again, thanks for watching. Haven't uploaded in a while, not one of these types of videos in a while, at least. And, yeah, I'll probably do another one of these in Chapter 6, and I've probably missed something knowing me. I'll put it in the description if I have, and yeah, I'll probably update this in the description as well if a new weapon comes out by the time I've uploaded this or whatever. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next video. I'm going to be uploading a lot more from now on as well, so stay tuned. Goodbye.